actually just did a live in my team page not too long ago about working out in Shakeology. And I think that's the easiest thing, like done, right? Like check it off the box. But I think sometimes when you've been in it for a little while, you think that you can just kind of skip here and there. Like you can just, I'm going to save the $100. I'm not going to get Shakeology this month. I'm going to get beach bars instead. I'm going to do performance instead. I'm going to skirt around it. I'm going to kind of do my workout, but be on Instagram half the time. We've all been there. I get it. But listen, you guys, I'm telling you that is the one thing that will make or break your business is being kind of sort of in on your fitness and your nutrition. Because when you're kind of sort of in, you're going to kind of sort of get results. And guess who you're going to attract? People who kind of sort of get results. People who are kind of sort of in. People who have like one toe in. And guess what happens then? Then they have one toe in and they're not totally committed. They don't get any results and they quit. And who gets frustrated? You. And it all started because you kind of sort of didn't work out and you didn't drink your shake. So what a blessing, first of all, that our business rises and falls with our own health, y'all. Like, that is a blessing. So keep that at the front and foremost important thing of your entire business. Because when you are on fire for your own journey and your own health, it will bleed through everything you do. Your stories will be dripping with excitement. Your posts will be dripping with, anticipation and excitement for what you're doing. And you genuinely want people to join you because you feel so good. Okay, we're no longer like, oh man, I don't know what to think about, what to post. I mean, that still happens, but there's so much more motivation when you're on fire for your own journey. So don't just check that box, workout and Shakeology. Like, that is the most important thing, right? Make sure you have picked a program that sets you on fire. Don't do the program just because that's the launch. If you don't like it, you hate it, you're not going to get results, pick something else, right? Drink Shakeology every single day. If you think that you can skip one of those things, you are only shooting yourself in the foot. Okay? I've been there. I've done that. I went 2 entire years. When I first started coaching, I don't talk about this probably enough. I went 2 entire years without completing a program from start to finish. And guess what I was in the business the entire time? Frustrated because everybody was quitting. Finally, I had a friend that said, Jess, they need to see you succeed. People need to see you from start to finish succeed. And that was like light bulb. I've not completed a program since then. So I'm sure every single one of you are all in on a nutrition program, all in on a fitness program, drinking your Shakeology. I have no doubts. But if there's ever a time that you feel like, maybe I can just don't. It's not even an option. Okay, that's number 1 rule. Sorry, got on the soapbox there for a hot second.
No, I love it. I mean, like you guys, Anita and I are in this like pod with Jessica and some other rockstar coaches. And we were saying like we needed to be reminded of those things. And we've been in this for a long time. And yeah, I tracked my portions today. Whoop. So there's that. All right, so workout, drink your Shakeology. Yes, very important. The next thing on our list is initiate connections and add followers. Jessica, you're going to talk about like messaging people who are engaging with your posts, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I will take initiate connections and add followers. I love this part. So there are lots of ways to add followers, and we're just going to do it while we sit here and talk and make it a little quiet. You guys can say something if you want to, but my favorite way, and I was telling Tracy this last night, that I do this. I really try to do this before I even get out of bed every morning. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits, but it's like one of my stacking habits things. I sit there, I do my quiet time, I read my Bible, I check in with my challengers, and do like my little personal development and try to post it in my stories. And before I get out of bed, my goal is to absolutely unfollow at least 50 people, because I still have a lot of people that I need to unfollow. And I try to find at least 10 to 20 people to follow. Now, how do I do that? I don't love searching hashtags, quite honestly. It does not, like, it just is tedious and time consuming. My preferred method is to go to another account that I have a lot in common with. It may be a really close friend who's not a coach, or it may be like somebody that like a smaller influencer that's part of my brand. And so I use, like, I have a friend that I follow that I connected with, and her account is That God, or like Lisa Whittle, or, you know, whatever is it just falls into your wheelhouse. Like, what is part of your brand? It could be homeschooling moms. It could be, you know, like, I don't know, Melissa, you're in snow covered Minnesota. Like, I don't know, you might have something crazy, but your local coffee shop or something like that. I love to go to those accounts and not just follow people who are following them, but I find that I get better, like, people who are more like me, when I actually go to a post that they have made and I look to see who liked and commented on those posts. Now, when I say a smaller influencer, I'm looking for someone who's not like 50K plus followers. I'm looking for somebody like 10K or under. And so typically the engagement on their post is going to be large enough for me to find people, but also small enough for me not just to be totally overwhelmed. So with that being said, think of like somebody that is part of your brand. I don't know, Jessica, do you have an example of somebody you would go to do that?
Maybe not I can't think of somebody off the top of my head that's smaller, but like I follow a lot of like fashion bloggers, like, so moms that, you know, have a lot of kids. I'm a mom of 5, so I try to find like moms that share like mom clothes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Sister Studio, she has 1 million followers, but I love her, and she always has really good engagement.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, I've got some, like, I'm in St. Louis and I have a couple of St. Louis mom blogs. Just I'm trying to like get my local market a little bit more. But it's a mom blog that's like my niche. And so it's like a mom who, like, I don't know, she's all over the place. She really likes Amazon, you know, that kind of stuff. And so just make sure it vibes with it, and I just dig in there.
So for my example is Lisa Whittle. She is she's like a faith-based influencer. She writes books. She has a podcast. So I'm not just gonna, like, she has 15,000 followers. If I started there, like, that's a lot. But if I go down to one of her posts that like really speaks to me, and she's talking about like took a sabbatical from social media. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Just joking. But she has this cute like t-shirt on, and she has like a really short message. So I am just gonna go and I'm gonna look and I'm gonna see who liked her post. And I can tell a lot by their name, and I can tell a lot by their profile picture, quite honestly. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to follow some people, and then I'm going to wait for them to follow me back. And that's when I'll start building the relationship. So honestly, I mean, I'll look, if they look like a coach or something, I'll check their page, but most of these people are not, I find. So I can follow, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 people really quickly that way. I think there's a limit on how many you can follow in an hour. It's like 50 or something, I think. But yeah, my goal is always, like, every time I sit down to do this, like 20 people minimum. And if I do that 5 days a week, sometimes more, if I'm sitting in Carline or something, it's really easy to do. I can follow like up to 200 people a week. Okay. Do we have questions? Do you need help with this? Alyssa, are you good? I know that you.
I was just gonna type this in there, but I figured since, you know, you kind of opened it up, I was gonna ask, when you're going, do you look at how many posts they have on their page before you follow, or do you just follow them anyways?
Some are private, so I can't. Well, you can say that, can't you?
So like if it says like they've got less than 100, is it, or maybe they've got less than 25? Are you picky when it comes to that?
I'm not picky, but like if they don't, I say this, I was gonna say if they don't have a profile picture and they've never posted, I'd be like, eh. But Olivia is Tracy's mom.
I was gonna say, don't go off it because of my mom.
Olivia's mom, Tracy's mom, Olivia, watched all my posts, and I just she watched all my stories, and I just invited her, even though she was like looked like a nobody, like she wasn't even on there, and she became a challenger, and then Tracy became a coach. So I mean, like,
okay, good to know.
You're good.
And she buys every single product out there, like
that's all the things
prior to me. So, so don't take that as like that you shouldn't follow them.
Well, that's just it, because I'll see people follow me all the time, and all of a sudden I'll see that like they're following me, but then I go to their page and they're like doing nothing. So they're like just constant stalkers.
Yeah.
But that's good too, right? Like I feel like those are, and this sounds bad, and I don't know, but those are real people, right? Like real people have private accounts. and they only have like a few hundred followers. Like though, and so that's okay. I find like that's okay. If they follow you back, even better, you know?
Yeah, I just make sure they don't have like weirdo posts.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just, you know.
Sorry, one of my coaches is trying to get on the call.
Another tip with this, if you find an account, this will happen, like you'll sort of like leave it in and finding other things, like another big account. I'll put that, save it to the, what is it, saved albums on Instagram or whatever, and just do like new follows, or I have it labeled something. So it's an account you can start at in your Power Hour and just like go to that really quick versus having to like search every time.
Yeah, I do that. I was going to talk about that. And I'm not connected to my computer with my phone, but I do that for invites for sure. But that's a good idea. I should do that for my follows.
Anita, how do you do that again?
Well, that's a really good question. Let me find somebody. All right. Not her, but that's fine. So I would like go to a post of hers. Like this is, maybe it's a big account that you want to use for this. And you just hit the little flag in the bottom right corner. And then it'll say saved a collection. And then you can create a collection of just like connections or whatever you want to call it. I think I called it target followers.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I have one for like dream coaches. I have one for potential mom challengers. I have one, like I save inspirational posts that I can later share to my stories just because I like to pepper those things in. But you find a post and you click the little flag down in the corner right next to it.
You guys stay clear of people that you can see are like, say they're Rodan and Fields consultants and they're in other network marketing?
Not necessarily, because like I have those people join my challenge groups. They may not be a coach, but they join challenge groups. Yeah.
I have a challenger that sells Rodan and Fields. So I'm a little leery as well, but I mean, I'm sure they're leery of us too. So I just try to take it.
Well, and everybody needs health and fitness, right? Like you can have good skin, but you got to have health and fitness. So I don't shy away from that. And bonus, they might fall in love with the process and already totally understand the business, and they could be an amazing coach. Like I don't steer clear of them. You know, as long as they're not selling, you know, their shampoo or whatever in my in my challenge group, I don't care.
I agree. Okay. So, does anybody else have questions on that? Hey Beth, we're adding followers. Just searching for people to follow on Instagram, and obviously Facebook is super simple. Like, I mean, especially if you're a new coach, you definitely don't just focus just on Instagram, like post and grow your following on Facebook. And I literally, Melanie Mitro told me to follow 3 people a day on Facebook, and I did it religiously. And just followed people that it told me to follow. Stayed away from guys for the most part, but that's how I grew Facebook. So do that as well.
Does everybody know how to unfollow people? Like who's not following you back? You know, what I've been doing recently, I just go to my page on Instagram, my followers are like who I'm following. And then it has like this new report in a category. It's least interacted with. I've been going to that because it gives you 50 people at a time. So I know I can crank through that whole thing. I check them for some of them.
What did you say?
What I just say, I go to my profile and then the people I'm following. And then the categories, it might be because I'm a business account or something.
Wait
it's the first thing that comes up.
Where you go to your profile, start again.
I don't know.
You're on your Instagram?
Yep, this is my Instagram. Mine's black because I switched for my eyeballs.
And then
click on following. And then for me, I have categories. I don't know if I like turned that on somewhere in settings.
Oh wait.
And then least interacted with, and then it gives you 50 people.
All I have is date followed, latest, and earlier is.
I wonder if it's
anything as far as categories.
What? Say that again.
Say it again.
I don't have any like thing on mine as far as categories at all, and I have a business account.
Yeah, me too.
I was tooling around. I also have over 10,000 followers, so I don't know if that's a different.
I do too, but I don't have that. Is it a business account or do you have an influencer?
I have it. Mine's under. If you go to your following,
is it do I have a creator account? I don't even know.
Mine's creative.
I don't mean
You
mine
can play
is
around with that and let us all know what you did.
followers.
Sorry,
I've heard somebody else say that before too. And that's where I got the idea. Maybe from like, what's her name? Bailey Kai, Boss Babes.
Well, I will even say that I have this done the date followed latest and earliest because I use Stem Social for a hot minute. And so I have a whole chunk of weirdos. And so if I do date followed earliest, I know that the beginning of that list is going to be like actual people, friends, right? But if I can scroll past like my earliest followers, I can get to a chunk of like, okay, I don't know any of these people. So that's where I start. So even sorting it that way can help too. I did the same thing.
I think I'm a creator account.
So my,
that must be why.
so you have 10,000. I will warn you guys, your Instagram takes a hot minute to get back to normal after you start unfollowing people. Like, I don't know, I see like the same people in my stories at the beginning, right? Like every day and like the same kind of feeds. When you start unfollowing people, it messes it all up for a little bit. So just fair warning. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't be scrolling stories anyway, but just so you know.
That's good. Okay, so let's talk connecting. I love this part, connecting with new people. So if you're following new people every day and you're creating content, I always say content generates conversation. It's a rule I live by. And you're not just like posting sweaty selfies and stuff like that. But if you're actually like sharing your life and your brand, then you're creating opportunities to engage. When people engage on your posts, Instagram pushes your stuff to the top of the feed. And so like initiating connections is really fun. I do this with new followers. So that's an important tip. Like if somebody follows you back, track that. Or like Anita said, make your saved collection. But I also look at who's watching my stories because I do have at least a few new people watching my stories every day if I'm growing my social media. And so I just like to, one of my favorite things to do, I've been doing this lately, I shared it with my team, is just send a message that just says, hey, I don't think we've actually met yet, but I see you're following my stories. Thank you so much for following my hot mess life. If I can serve you better in some way, or if you're looking for something specific from my faith and fitness account, I would love to hear. And I just end it with a question like, are you having a good day? Or, wasn't that funny what Milo said or whatever from my stories, because I know what they watched. But I just like the piece where I don't think we've met yet. I'm Rachel, where are you from? It's really easy to make that very conversational. And I find that I get a lot of people respond back to that. Obviously, polls, if you're not doing polls, and I'm not talking about join my challenge group polls, I'm talking about like, would you rather go to the beach or to the mountains? Or like today I did those polls where I said, what would you like to see more of this week? Bar or hit. And then I did a business one, and then I did a nutrition one, then I did a family one. I had a lot of people engage with those today. So those are just really easy. I actually sat on my couch before we got on the call, and I sent messages based on who responded in the poll. And if you don't know, like if you go back to that story, if you go to your archive or you just watch the ones that were posted, like you can actually click on the bottom there, those little faces, and it'll show you who voted in the poll and what they voted. And that arrow right beside it, I mean, I could connect with probably like 50 people today, just from those polls. So make sure you're doing engagement type stuff. And I know we're all teaching that in our trainings and stuff. But those are like, I don't want to have to go looking and trying to come up with something to say. That's why I say content generates conversation. Be yourself. Talk about your crazy life. Tracy's kids run around naked. Like she could do a poll. Say, do your kids do that too? Like people want to engage with you guys over stuff, just regular old life stuff. And that honestly is where I get my challengers. Like we connect over real stuff and not just a challenge group. So, I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that, but let's go connect. Go connect. And if you haven't done a poll today over just a silly old nothing, do one right now.
I even asked yesterday. I made spaghetti squash, and I like randomly cut it in half instead of long ways. And I did a poll, and I had a ton of people respond to that. And I was like, random. And now I need to message all of them. And I was like, so spaghetti squash, eh? Like I haven't had a good message in my mind yet.
That was funny. I watched that and I chuckled. Like I did a poll. I mean, a story today about my kids being on a landline. Like they were like, "This is so cool." They didn't know what to do with it. Yeah. they kept prank calling their dad. And so like I could have easily said, you know, do your kids even know what a landline is? Yes or no? You know, that's just like a way to engage people.
So does anybody else, like Rachel, I'm still having issues with, like, I don't know if they're robots or what, but like 20 of them, like literally voting in my polls every single time. And there's this one person that continues, and I finally just reached out and said, like, can I help you? Like, you've not ever once responded to me. Like, still no response, and still voting in everything that I put out there.
I just
So-
block them. I mean, I had a trend of it, but I haven't had anybody in like 5 days do that. I just block them. That's a lot.
That's all I do too.
When, like, are they like on their little circle picture? Does it have like almost like a rainbow circle? It's like it's not like pink like it normally is. Like if you share in your stories, it's almost like a rainbow color, like multicolored.
Never seen that.
No, because like I have had like lots of those people, and they have like look at all these like stock photos and.
Yes, 2 of them do.
Wow.
Okay. So yeah, I've had lots of those too.
All right, I'm blocking her. Thank you.
Just block.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Are you guys connecting? Does anybody need help? And I definitely suggest use the time limits on your tracker because I know you guys are busy. So, I mean, you can easily get sucked into following people and watching stories and end up in other coaches' stories, which is totally pointless, totally wasting time. It's not going to grow your business at all. So definitely stick to those time limits and just check your boxes. All right. I think that
Hold on,
obviously,
I had one other thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just remembered because I was just doing it. On the people, like when I go through my unfollow list, or like followers or whatever, I look for people who have live stories and I go in and look at those. And so I do look at those stories, you know, but I try to engage. And I just sent a couple messages from people in response to what their stories were. So I know.
that's good
Like
too.
if they're already doing stories and they're posting, like they could be a good coach one day. So.
Yeah, I agree. That's good.
Well, and I find that they respond to reply to their story almost every time rather than just a message.
Yes.
So at least opens that door, gets the conversation going.
Yeah. That's good. All right. Do a social media post that showcases the benefits of your healthy lifestyle or has a call to action. Obviously, I don't do that every day. Mine's not like a health and fitness post every day. I try to do it at least twice a week, but you can work it in, obviously. You know, tomorrow's Tuesday. You should have a transformation. You should have a transformation in every 9 squares post. Because if people scroll once or twice, that's your business. Like your transformation is your business. And so tomorrow mine's going to be kind of simple and sweet, but I'm just going to go back to the beginning. Like I'm going to talk about where I was. Like I was tired, I was defeated, I was frustrated, I was afraid. And I was right where I needed to be to make a change. And I'm just going to kind of tease, like I'm going to start opening my February enrollment soon. And, you know, just create that almost like a jab. It is, you know, be sort of an invite, but not a direct invite. So just tell your story in your posts. But I think you guys, I mean, unless somebody needs to make a post tonight, we'll skip through that one. And then Jessica, I think you're going to do stories. That's what's next. Do you want to talk about stories?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk all night about stories. I love stories. Like, I absolutely love stories because you get to show the real and the raw and the, you know, the behind the scenes and the goofiness and your personality. And it all goes away in 24 hours and you can do it all again the next day. So first I want to say, you guys make sure you have some type of call to action at some point about your challenge group, about the business opportunity, something every single day. Yes, you're going to feel like you're talking until you're blue in the face. Yes, you're going to feel like you're beating yourself, but not everybody watches your story every single day. So you've got to have it up there so that they have a way to connect with you, because you just never know when they're ready, right? So make sure you're showing up every single day. Product use, you guys, you should be wanting that go-go juice. You should be talking about that shake. You should be talking about those beach bars and your portion containers. I mean, you don't have to do all of them every single day, right? But you've got to have some sort of product use in there without mentioning the name, just that it's just a part of your life. It's just what you do, right? Like the performance line, everything. I think it's really important to be genuine and authentic in your stories, because people will see right through it. If you are using stock photos or you're just using the same, listen, those pretty Canva templates, they serve a purpose and they're great. But if that's the only thing that people see every single day, they're going to stop watching. They want to see your kids. They want to see your dirty laundry. They want to see your dishes. I don't know why either, but they do, right? Teach them something. Give them value. I am finding that the more I put out there without expecting anything in return, just recipes, value, motivation, tips, tricks, water, like whatever I can think of. If I'm like, what do I post about? I sat there tonight and I was like, shoot, I haven't even gotten my face on stories tonight. What, and so I just recapped my day. And then I was like, well, hell, I'm doing this power hour tonight. I'm going to go teach a bunch of ladies about how to work their business in an hour, so find something that you're doing, because you're doing something in your business every single day, right? And talk about it. Do a business recap post every day. I know it's so simple, but just take a picture of yourself sitting at your desk and list out what you did. Checked in with my challengers, sent out messages to girls I think would rock this business with me. Whatever you're doing, list it out, like in the words, just on a picture, just so that people know when you reach out and say, hey, have you ever thought of doing what I do? They already know what you do because you talk about it every single day, right? So just make it so ingrained in your life that it's just something that you show. I think it's important that people know what they're going to get when they come to your feed, when they come to your story, right? I watch certain people's story every single day. I know what I'm going to get, but it's always something different, right? But if they started talking about like politics or something, I'd be like, okay, bye, right? So they know what people want from you. And if you don't know what people want from you, ask. Put up polls. Rachel just talked about that, right? That creates engagement, that creates conversations, connections, and it gives you a total roadmap of what your people want to see from you. I guarantee they want to see your workouts and they want to see recipes, but they probably want to see, your kids running around naked. Well, that sounds weird, but you know what I mean. They want to see the weird stuff. They want to see how you get up and, dance around your kitchen at 5 a.m. They want to know how you make it happen. So give those tips and tricks. And stories are a great place to just connect with your people. Act like you're sitting in your living room with your best friend, and you're just talking. And what did you want me to like tell them to do something like with a call to action on their stories, or?
Yeah, does anybody not have a call to action today? You may not have one that needs one. Needs help with one. I just think if you don't, just do it before you go to bed. They're up for 24 hours. People like stay on Instagram all night long.
That's true. You just never know. Listen, mom's up nursing a baby at 2 a.m. She needs to know what group you've got starting next. Like, you just never know. Get it up there.
Right.
One tip with that is if you're going to do like speaking, make sure that you add captions at the bottom, because people don't know what you're saying, because most of the time, like 80% of the time, people are not listening with sound on. So just putting little snippets, even if it's just like verbatim what you're saying. I have little like paragraphs sometimes, and just like on there, it's better than nothing. So.
And I've also heard, I don't know the exact time, but that if somebody clicks through your stories and they're not on one slide for more than like 3 seconds, it doesn't even count as a view. So people can just like click through and you don't even know they're there because you haven't caught their attention enough. But if you write it out, it takes them a second, to read it. That will slow it down a little bit and helps with engagement too. I don't know if that's true. I just remember hearing that.
That's good. Yeah, Anita's like the master. I always read and watch all of Anita's stories. Like you're really good at it with the wording and stuff. Okay, respond to new likes and comments. I think Jessica, that was you too.
Oh, shoot. All right. Let's see. So this was a good topic for me because I just had a post blow up last night, and I'm like in the trenches with responding to likes and commenters. But it's really important, you guys. This is social media. And if somebody is liking and commenting on your post, they are engaged. They're like standing in your front yard. And so you not reaching out to them is like pretending they're not even there, right? Like they are engaging with you for a reason. So wave at them. Say hi friend, thanks for being in my front yard, right? So send them a message. Thanks for the love. I didn't want to skip over you in case you wanted more info or love. I really appreciate it. Putting myself out there is not always easy, but having your support means the world to me. Like just genuinely connecting with people who are giving you love, you guys, like that's what we're here for, right? Like that's what we're here for. And again, don't expect anything in return, but just genuinely thank them, for loving on you and loving on your post. So that's what I did today. I sent messages on Facebook. I'll just read verbatim what I said to one of them, maybe. I said, thanks for the love on my post last night. So crazy what can happen when we get super focused and have a killer support system. I so appreciate all of your support and encouragement. And I've been getting like, oh my gosh, you did amazing. Great job. I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Are you on a health and fitness journey too? Or do you have goals you're working towards this year? Or are you following a program as well? Like I always say thank you and then flip it back with a question to hopefully get that conversation going, because typically they'll be like, oh no, but it should be, or something like that. And then that opens the door and you can talk. So just sometimes that can just open, and listen, sometimes I send a message and I don't get anything back. This girl read it today at 1:27 and I ain't got nothing back, and that's fine. But next time she thinks about, oh man, I'm ready. I'm ready to lose weight. I'm ready to do whatever. She's going to know that I've already opened that door, and I've already started that conversation. And that's my hope. That's my hope, is just to get that conversation starting. So there may be a better way. I don't know if you guys do it differently. I always lean on thanking them, but maybe there's a better question or something that you guys use. I just find nobody gets mad when you're nice, right? Like nobody gets mad. We're just like, you're awesome. Thanks so much. So I'm just trying to be a professional friend maker. And if somebody is liking and engaging on my post, that's an open door for me to message them. If they aren't ready to talk back, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'm a thinker too. I'm definitely a thinker. I think that genuineness, like genuine gratitude and excitement, enthusiasm goes very, very far. They're going to respond if you say thank you, and that's such an easy way to say, you should.
And you can get bold and you can go out on a limb and send a voice message or a video on Instagram. You guys, you can record a 15-second clip and just send it to this same video to different people. Like, hey friend, thanks so much for the love of my post. That was kind of scary to put myself out there, but gosh, I worked so hard. I'm so proud of myself, and I just love your support and encouragement, or whatever. Like, just be super genuine and make a video and just crank it out.
Mm-hmm.
Crank it out to a bunch of people, and that's like personal connection. I've had people that I engage with, like mom bloggers and things like that, voice memo me back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so nice of them, right? And so if I feel like that, if I sent that back to somebody, I would hope that they might feel, special too, and that I would take the time to voice memo them or whatever. So don't be afraid of that. And it actually goes really fast. Those voice memos and things, it feels faster than typing. So that's another little tip.
Yeah, that's on the go. I do have, if I send a voice memo, most people don't know you can do that. And then too, they usually voice memo me back, which is a deeper connection.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. I had one girl that do it back, and she said, comma, like she was typed to texting. She was like, oh, you're so awesome, comma. And she was like, oh, I guess I don't have to say that. Like, it was so funny. And then we just started having a conversation.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to take a few minutes and do that? Connect with some people.
I really do need to do that.
Yeah. No, I got in such a bad rut over December not doing that, and I could tell. Like my momentum, my whole compound effect wasn't working. Yeah, so that's definitely a good one. I'll just type in the chat bar when you've done like 5 or 2. I don't care.
Oh, one other thing I forgot, especially on Instagram, this is important, but also Facebook. When somebody likes or comments, don't just feel like you have to message them right away. Go to their page, go to their feed, engage on their stuff, love on them, comment on their stuff, go to their story, reply in their stories, watch their highlight, like dig in and like engage with them, because that's what they're doing for you. And when you reciprocate, I feel like that also can start a conversation or a connection or whatever. Yeah, engage on their stuff.
Because too, that's going to put your content in their feed more. Yeah. It's a whole science. It's really interesting. Don't be overwhelmed, but it's pretty cool. All right. Let's see, it's 8:40. I think we're doing good on time. Is this helping? Are y'all connecting? I think connecting is the cornerstone. I think it's a cornerstone. Because I'm going to share with you what I do next. Obviously, like, if you're consistent in your content, you're talking about your challenge groups, you're sharing those opportunities for people to tell you that they want to join your challenge groups. That's, you're going to, you're not going to get like 50 yeses on your poll about your challenge group, but you may about your naked baby. So just expect that. Okay. Like, our team did that thing. Was it Saturday, Alyssa, where I asked you for those stories, and nobody voted in my polls. Not a single person. And that's okay. Maybe because it was Saturday, maybe it can been because it was so brief and I didn't share my story, but I put the information out there, right? So, but I do connecting us is a cornerstone, because I have started to send this message, and I call it my I'm sorry message. I call it my I'm sorry invite. Hold on, I need to see if I can paste it into here. I think I've shared it with you guys before, but yeah, there it goes. It's basically like, hey, we've been talking for a while. You're so sweet to give me support and watch my stories, or, support me on my posts. And I'm sorry I haven't done this before, but I was just planning for my February boot camp, and I have not invited you. I wanted you to know that my door is always open. I love serving women in health and fitness. Would you like more, do you have any goals? Would you like information about joining it? Again, I'm so sorry I haven't invited you until now. Like that, because I really and truly think that some people watch our stories and they read their posts and they think, oh, she's not talking to me, and so like you have those go-getters who are going to say, yeah, hey, Rachel, I want to do that. But there are a lot of people that watch and think, is that for me or not? But just by putting the opportunity in their inbox, you may change somebody's life, right? And so I call it my I'm sorry invite. Okay. So I send that often, and it's usually to people that I have been building that connection with over mommyhood, over faith, over whatever it might be. And so a lot of people say, no, thanks. I just love watching you, but I planted a seed and I know that they may come back later. So if there are people that always watch your stories, if there are people that you've connected with over something funny, over your kids, over anything, over nutrition or whatever, and you just haven't invited them, like, go send that message right now. And then, just an example, we were talking about Tracy's mom. She didn't engage in anything. She just watched every single story. And so, like, I knew there was something there she was coming back for. And I just simply, like Jessica said, it was a thank you that turned into an invite. Thank you so much for watching my stories every day. Is there something I'm sharing that helps you? Is there something I share that serves you better? I have space in my boot camp. You're always welcome. And I just said, tell me a little bit more about you. And then that's how that transitioned into her signing up. You may have somebody you want to invite and you just don't know how.
Okay, here's a question. What if you just noticed a new person that you've never noticed the name before? She doesn't have a lot of posts, you've never messaged her before, but she's watching your stories. It's like a first, like an open the door kind of, you know what I mean? Like, hi, I'm Rachel. Is that what you do?
She doesn't have any posts.
No.
I would probably, personally me, I would wait to see if she watched for a couple more days. And then like, if she does, then I would be like, hey, we haven't met yet, but you know, I've seen your face here. That's what I would do.
Here's one I do sometimes. Hey friend, your name just popped up in my notifications. I hadn't talked to you in a while. I want to check in with you, see how you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and because like if I'm like, oh, who's this? That looks familiar. And I go back and I see we've messaged before, but it's been a little while. I'm like, oh, hey, your name just popped up in my notifications. How you been? You know, just, is she still watching? We talked, I don't even know when this was.
I will tell you too, I have a lot of success with going through my stories because you'll find that like the people that you invite and you have a conversation with and then they just ghost out or don't respond, they're going to keep watching you. And so like every month when I do my stories about my challenge group, those people are watching and I'm very direct. I'm like, click that little arrow button. I'm like, okay, girl, it's your time. Let's get you started. You know,
I like that.
I mean, like it's short and sweet.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll have some people that just ignore me. And then I have some people that are like, okay, I'm ready. You know, let's just do it. So those are what I count those as invites. You know, an invite is just an invite. I don't care if I followed up with them 16 times. Like if I'm inviting them again, like I count it as an invite. But I find that like putting your sassy pants on helps a lot.
Oh yeah. I feel like, and I've been a lot more direct about like nutrition and just like, listen, I'm all about balance, blah, 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 blah. But at some point you got to look yourself in the face and be like, enough's enough.
Yeah.
Have some discipline. Say no every once in a while. Like I've been very firm in that and people are responding. They're like, okay, that's what I need to hear. Because yes, of course we need balance, right? Of course, everything in moderation and all that's it. But when you start to just let that go for too long, you don't get results, right? And so people need a little bit of tough love. They need to know that you have what they need. You have the answer and you can hold them to it, right? So don't be afraid to kind of be a stickler in whatever it is, you know, whether that's nutrition or fitness or, you know, whatever.
And I'll tell you guys, like I've been posting my portions in my stories more. You know, I've been tracking it and posting in my stories and I find people are like, what is that? What are you doing? Just like curiosity. So, you know, one, take care of yourself and track like Jessica preached about and then share it. Like people don't know what those colors are, but you know, they'll ask what, especially if they see you getting results.
And something so simple, and listen, I watch her stories, don't judge me. Emily Faber, but she gets me every time. I'm like, what program is she doing? And I'm like, holy crap, she's good. She's got me. All she does is an overhead view of putting like zucchini in her green container or whatever, just like one slide. And it just says like day 4 out of 60. And she's not even talking. She's just putting her food in her container and dumping it in her bowl. Day 4 out of 60. I'm like, 60? What program? 60 days? What is she doing?
Yeah.
Like, why do I even care? But it's so
That's
like
good.
surface level. You want to know more.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was great. I saw that yesterday, and I was like, I'm gonna start doing that.
Okay, I preach about not watching other coaches, but like I think if you've got your work done and like you like want to like just don't compare. Like if
Right.
you're stuck into comparing, like you've got to stop. I found myself there. That's why I preach it so hard. Okay. All right. Did y'all invite? Tracy is holding a very large Reagan. She's okay. Okay. I think Anita, you're up. You can close us out when you're done. You're working so hard.
Well, I need to take the message that I was just sending and paste it in my notes.
Hey, that's another thing. You guys know if you have a business account, you can create the saved. What's it called? Quick
snippets.
Quick
Or-
replies.
yeah.
Like if you have a
I
business,
changed mine so much that it's like I always forget.
what you can do. So like you can just like go down to your messenger and there's like a little plus button and you can actually save messages that you send often. So I actually have my invite saved in there, and I have my like Flowdesk link to my What is Coaching. I have a coach change message because I do have people who their coaches quit and they want to make me their coach, and so like I just have all that information typed up in there and I just hit send. So if you're inviting, if you're connecting, you can save those messages that you use often. Definitely check it before you send it, but I do that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just use notes, and then I'm kind of nervous because I might get a Google Chromebook and I have all Mac of everything else. I'm like, oh my God, it won't sync up. So anyway, I'm crazy about my notes. Okay, so I'm talking about follow-ups. And so I've actually been working on this week. And honestly, like that's where mainly like most of my Success Club points have come from this month already. Because it's those conversations that you just keep bringing up with people. And so there's some different ones. And I think the main thing is that you're not just like, sometimes you can just say like, hey, are you ready yet? And you can be bold and throw it out there depending on what the conversation was before with somebody. Or, oh my God, I had another one. I had to just move it. Sorry. There was a really good one I saw that I have been adapting about coaching. My problem is I don't delete anything, and so I've got way too many. But like, you can just always be like, just checking in. If you're not interested, please feel free to stop me. But, and you kind of go in there with like, especially if it's somebody who voted on a poll or filled out an application and then ghosted you, because that happens all the time. And those people just need follow-up after follow-up after follow-up. I always make sure I go and like engage on their posts and their stories if they have anything. And then send the message. And sometimes it's just the same thing over and over. If they give a cell phone number, I text them if it's been like through the application before. And that's where I'll get people because they're just not checking their messages, or they check them and they forgot to respond. So they say, I always remember to respond to my messages. But that's even another thing is like when you send the invites out, like I always put down people's names of who I invite so that I remember to then check back in with them in a couple of days. And you can send that message like, hey, I just want to check back in. I saw that you can even say, hey, I saw my message. Did you have any questions, or were you still interested? Or was it a mess up or like an accidental click on the poll? And I'll give people an out sometimes so they don't feel bad, and then they can still talk to you and have a conversation, because I just hate when people don't respond back and they see the message, even though that used to be me. So you can kind of use that follow-up in different ways, whether it's like somebody who is a brand new invite, or it's people from a year ago or 2 years ago. I just had somebody join who's been following for a year and a half and initially filled out an application a year and a half ago. And I'm like, and I texted her and she's like, okay, I'm ready. She responded a month later to my text. But, it's like just being persistent and knowing that you're there and being consistent is what's so, so powerful. All right. So I'm looking for some of my other follow-ups and sometimes it's not even like a message, like an invite follow-up. It'll just be like, hey, how you doing? Because they'll like, I've had a couple lately who responded to a poll, or I see them in my feed and I'm like looking for them or whatever. And I'll just send a message. It's like, how are you? Rachel, I think you did that the other day, like a month ago. Just asked how I was. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna take this. We're gonna go with it. Been having some sleep transition issues. Yeah, fun stuff. But getting better. Other follow-ups. And this one was even like you sent information for somebody on coaching, or you can do this for a challenge group. Like you sent, like maybe you had an informational video or some sort of like, is that a third party tool, whatever it's called. And just like, hey, what are your thoughts on what we chatted about with the routes you can take for coaching or for the accountability group? Because at that point, maybe it was like, here's the pricing, which packs do you think is best for you? And then they ghost, and so again, giving that out. What are your thoughts on what we chatted about before? Gosh, I can give you so many wordings, but it's all the same idea. Just make sure it sounds like you, and even do voice messages. Like I sound awkward sometimes, and sometimes it's at like 11 p.m. and I'm just sending like, hey, I feel so bad. I haven't followed up with you. I just saw that our last message was a month ago. What? Like when they actually hear me talking and like being kind of silly or cussing, because I cuss and like whatever, they're more likely to respond. And so just being you and making sure you follow up, because that's where your business is going to grow.
I tell my team too, like when I'm following up, I always say, do you have any questions or concerns? That opens the door wide open, like that they're scared to say it costs too much or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also very assertive. I'm very assertive. I'm like, okay, do you have any questions or concerns? Let's get it all sorted out, because we're going to get you signed up. We're going to get you enrolled. Like I just always talk to them like I know they're going to do it. So that helps me.
And the clear that you are too, with that, like, hey, you can start your workout tonight, or you can start your workout tomorrow morning with us. Like, and just so they can visualize themselves in that spot is really helpful. And then never giving up. I just saw your message. Like that's true. You're not annoying.
One thing that I throw into follow-ups that tend to get people to respond to is, hey, I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. I've got a new group starting soon. I've got a spot for you if you want it. Something like, let them know, hey, I did not forget about you. I have a spot for you. Like, let's do the thing. I like that. I think I'll add that in. I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. I've got a group starting next week. Let's get you signed up. Like, just crank it on them.
And I mean, like, I just looking at you guys, like, I mean, Beth is a newer challenger and a newer coach, and we talked for a long time, didn't we? I think.
Yes.
It was a long time.
Sure.
Yeah, and she just had to be ready. I mean,
yeah. I was scared. That's all.
We all were.
Yeah, my coach sent me like 5 invites and I didn't respond to any of them. And then I finally like reached out to her via Beachbody email. Like I wouldn't even message her on Facebook. So, I was the creeper, and and so I talk about that too, and like I'll even bring that up sometimes. Like
didn't respond, then that would be like you're out. Was that your thinking? Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
Yeah.
that
you can even ask people. Oh, no.
Yeah.
It was one of my friends, like a teacher who taught another high school locally. I forget what I was just gonna say. It's okay. But that's the one thing, like I do keep a list of, especially people who filled out applications and responded to polls. I just write it in my Rise Up planner. And that's an easy thing to like flip through.
The fortune is in the follow-up. Isn't that what they always used to tell us? I haven't said that in a long time. It really is.
And I think that, I've read so many different things, but like the least number I've seen that says you've got to follow up like 7 to 8 times sometimes before you get a sale. So if you think that they told you no once, that's just the beginning of the conversation, right? Like that's just the start of it. You blow that up until they block you. That's what Mackenzie says, blow it up blue until they block you.
And even what you can do is like if you've got something free, like something to give, like even if it's a recipe from the Beachbody blog, like who cares? It's like, hey, I just saw this and it made me think of you from like, maybe it was something you talked about, or it's an easy recipe that fits their family or whatever. I'm just like, hey, I thought about you and I wanted to share this with you. I hope you're having a great day.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's like that's another invite kind of, because then they scroll up and they see the invites from before. Obviously that's for somebody who you were having a conversation with. But I find that was really helpful at certain points. All right, do we need to do more follow-ups right now? Oh no, it's 9 o'clock, isn't it?
Do you have any questions about, do you have anybody you need to follow up and you don't know how? What about anything else on the tracker, like recognize achievement? I know that sometimes coaches struggle with that, especially newer coaches. That's just like, honestly, you can recognize if your challenger drank all their water that day and they're really excited, or, you know, your coach does something, or like I recognized Jess today. I shared her transformation post to my stories. And I recognize non-fitness people too. Like if there's somebody that really inspires me, you know, I'll share their stuff or shout them out. I love recognition. I think it's a really cool piece of our vitals. And then obviously personal development. And then one thing I always share is like contribute to your challenge groups. Obviously you should be running a challenge group if you're a coach, or maybe you're not yet, but if you have challengers, you know, taking care of them. One of the easiest things that I do that I find has the most impact is I track my new challengers in Google Streak, and I just hit one button and I send in a message like every week. You know, I send them a meal plan, but usually like on Sunday night too, I'll send them a check-in message and just ask how they're doing and encourage them. And I find that goes a long way too. So don't overlook the people that you already have in your business. They're very important.
The one with the recognize achievement, what I've been doing a lot lately is in the group, I just screenshot it and then put it in my stories and just scratch everything out. And maybe it's even just their message. And I'll just like shout it out, like even repeat what they said in my own text, and just be like, oh my God, I used to struggle with this too. And she got it in week 2 or whatever it is. And
yeah, I saw somebody, I think maybe Jay
Yes.
did it today in her story. She screenshotted McKenna's transfer. Somebody asked in our team pod, like, tell me your Beachbody story, or like Alyssa asked, and McKenna lost like 50 pounds in 4 pant sizes, and Jade just like screenshotted it and she circled it, and it wasn't her challenger, but it was like her teammate, you know, and so that's all she did. It was very powerful. So.
And what you can do too in your highlights in your story or your Instagram is make a client results tab and just save that highlight. And so it's proof that even if it's not really your client, it's like somebody there, it's still results, right? Like as long as it's like got some form of truth there. But that's what I'll do, and just throw it in there, because that's even the first one that pops up because I add to it most often. So when people come to my page, they should see like a live story, and maybe they look at my first highlight, and that would be pretty good.
That's good. I need to do that. I suck at highlights.
It's what's her face? Cake Money, Taylor Quinn.
Oh,
Who is it?
The chick that Abby got for
She said
like social media
highlights are
training.
important.
Mm-hmm.
Her highlights are
And
like
for
18 years old.
client results, and then like mini trainings, and then I do recipes.
Hey, tell
I've
me
got a
more.
bunch of other stuff, but
Client results. What about mini trainings? What's that?
like how to drink more water, how to make a scoop and dump lunch, or I have like or how to like not be negative, or it's anything like what's your brand, and
Okay.
go with
So,
that.
and then
How to
what
do
other
intermittent fasting, how to not eat after your window's over.
What other highlights?
Oh, that's really it. I like client resources, mini trainings, and then I have recipes. But just because people say that they like to see recipes from me more.
What's in that cabinet, buddy?
I have a lot of different things that I just don't.
Yeah.
I have my journey too. I think that's one of them. So that they can see your transformation over time.
Yeah.
And that would be a good thing to do in your stories one day or over the course of a week or something. Gives you content. And then she even says, like, you can go in if you do this tutorial and our mini training and people love it, do it again in a couple of months, you know. So just start recycling your content in a new way, and then because you know people already enjoyed it and you have new followers at that point.
And go live, you guys. Like, please go live on your Instagram. Like, I know that's scary, but do your Instagram TV. I find they get a whole different group of people that watch and like and comment on those.
And if you really want to, you don't have to go live.
Yeah.
Like if you want to practice first and like just record it, as long as it's less than 10 minutes, and you can upload it into your feed. So it's an IGTV.
Well, so if I have a live, is there a way to save it?
Yeah.
Only before you post it.
Yeah, before you post it, when it has all the little faces on there that show you who watched, and it'll say post to stories up in the top left, because I've forgotten it many times. Top left hand corner, there's a download arrow, and it'll save it to your phone.
So once I did it, it's done. It's done.
Yeah,
Be gone.
it's done.
Okay.
But
So
I
the
go
story,
live just to make Instagram happy, because I feel like if Instagram's happy with me, like they'll grow my following.
Yeah.
I feel, yeah.
Okay.
What else? That's it.
Have questions?
But I guess you can still see who sees it before it disappears anyway. So that, right?
Yeah.
But it just won't be there forever.
Right.
I'm going to pretend my 15-year-old son watched this whole live. I don't think he did, but he's on the views.
That's funny.
He couldn't listen to me for 15 minutes. His life depended on it.
Henry wrote his name on my whiteboard the other day as a new coach sign up, and I was like, "Oh, you will be when you're 18."
So funny.
18.
You guys, I have to tell you something. So I was trying to get a teenager perspective on building my business on Instagram. Oh my gosh. It was so comical because I was telling her all the stuff that we talk about and how we do it. She's like, Mom, that is so not cool. You can't just randomly go out and follow people. I'm like, how did you get so many followers on yours? She goes, well, because through people I'm connected with. I'm like, well, how'd you get connected with them? Well, I connected with them. Like, you don't make any sense.
Is that why Harley voted in all my polls today?
Yeah.
I'm gonna message her.
She's so funny. I'm like, come on, you're like on social media constantly. You're supposed to know what you're doing. She's like, oh my gosh, Mom, you're just ridiculous.
You voted in my polls.
They just like things to like things. I tried to explain that to my son. He was like, you get like 60 likes, and some of the girls in my class get like 600. I'm like, yeah, well, 600 girls in your school have nothing else to do. That's the problem. And they have to like it, because if they don't, they won't be able to sit at the lunch table tomorrow. And then that's a whole nother thing. He was like, okay.
That is a good story series or Instagram live, right? There you go. That would be great.
IG from a teen.
Yeah. I love it.
It's
All right,
entertaining.
guys. Does anybody have anything? 9:07. We did great.
Mhm.
Thanks, ladies.
That's good.
Good.
We'll see y'all another time. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Bye.